Gone. Two students who study together in Portsmouth have been looking back at films they shot 40 years ago.
Yes, one features an organist entertaining holidaymakers on the pier. The star of the other is a rag and bone man whose yard used to be right in the city centre. I think I can remember that, though of course I would have been very young at the time. Richard Jones has more.
It was a reunion for students who studied at what used to be the College of Art that prompted Doug Smith and Myrtle Bremmer to look out their old films. They were based in this building between 1966 and 69 and made a number of documentaries. Only two survive.
There are organs, aren't there?
Doug was an organist in a blues band and chose organ music as his subject. He filmed in pubs and clubs and churches, but the most memorable sequence was shot at South Parade Pier. There, pensioners wrapped up against the wind were listening to organist Kenny Law. Whether they were bored or just cold is anyone's guess. The pier itself is still there, but organ recitals have long gone.
I was just there to make this contemporary documentary, as I thought, but it's inadvertently turned into something else. It's now become a part of social history, a document that records that time, and I love that aspect of film.
Doug and Myrtle are at the location where Myrtle shot her film. 40 years ago, what's now a students' hall of residence near the Guildhall was the site of a rag and bone man's yard. Myrtle was so captivated by it that she chose it as her subject.
I find it fascinating to look down on that area. There were old cars, bits of broken machinery, but then there were the horses, and we would see every day the totters getting the horses ready. And I could just glance up from the horses and the rag and bone man and see the Guildhall there in front of me.
Myrtle thought her film had been lost. This is the first time she's seen it for more than 35 years. This is the 1960s, but the rag and bone man's horse and cart make these scenes look almost Dickensian. Myrtle has special reason to remember them.
At one point, the rag and bone man stopped being cooperative, and I had to get some fill-in shots. So we see my father's hands, for example, and then at another you see my mum coming out to give a bag of clothes to the rag and bone man. It is very much close to my heart.
I was a calling over gospel. I didn't know the woman or I didn't know the man, and they never had no money to get me bread with. So the man went indoors and took off his, said they was woolens, took off his pants and vest, and bought them out and sold them for rags.
Doug stayed in film and today is a director. Myrtle changed tack and is an artist and teacher. Both remember their days as student filmmakers in Portsmouth with great fondness. But does it feel like it was 40 years ago?
It does feel like 40 years ago, I suppose, because things have changed. Visually, things have changed. Musically, things have changed. So, we have moved on. But I don't feel any older inside, and I still have the same passion for film, and particularly documentary filmmaking.
What's frustrating for Doug and for Myrtle is that they both made other films 40 years ago, but they've all disappeared without trace. Richard Jones in Portsmouth for Meridian Tonight.
Wonderful, wonderful memories of the 60s.
I can watch things like that all day long. Very good.
And I was there. Well, now